morning. How is everybody doing? Coby here, and I wanted to share just a really quick perspective on how I knew I was addicted. For a lot of years, I lived in this really awkward place. It was kind of like a little land, and it was called denial. And I just did not want to say out loud that I had an issue. But here's what, because it was like if I said I had like an addiction, it would be like, wait, what? I'm not that guy, because I had known friends that were alcoholics, had friends who were drug addicts and so forth. I mean, I even had a brother who spent a year in prison because of drugs, prescription drugs. And so I didn't want to be that person. But let me just describe to you very quickly the behavior that I exhibited that really led me to believe, okay, I'm addicted. I have an issue. At night when I lived at when I lived at home, when at home late at night, Ashlyn would fall asleep. We'd watch TV. This is before we had kids. She would fall asleep at night on the couch, and I would pick her up and I would carry her to bed, thinking, "Oh, this is so chivalrous and so forth." But then I'd go back out to the TV and I would just flip channels like this, just incessantly trying to find something that would set me off. And I would turn the volume down really low, and it was simply just my time to act out. And that, like, I had a few instances right after our honeymoon that where that took place, and then times when she was gone from the house during the day, and but it really set in probably within, like, I knew that instance of those instances very quickly after being home from a honeymoon. Like, I figured those were like one-off instances, is really how my mind justified it and rationalized it. But I really knew I had an issue when I would spend time at night watching TV while she was in bed. And I didn't know all these years until later, is that she was awake. Like, I would carry her to bed and she would stay awake, just wondering, what is he doing? Other behavior, when I would go to town, because I used to travel for work, I'd be jet lagged. I would do the same thing, be in a hotel room jet lagged, trying to sleep, and I'd be on the wrong time zone and be jet lagged, and I'd do this again, just trying to find something. And when you're in Copenhagen in the middle of the night watching late night TV, it is very different from what my experience was here at home. When I travel through airports, I would just search concourses to try to find magazine stands or bookstores, really, that had porn. Like, I would obsess about that. When I would travel and I would go to certain when I would go to certain countries, I would try to find hotels where I knew porn was on TVs or could be found. And thankfully, a lot of TVs, big chains, Marriott, Hilton, both, Omni, have removed adult entertainment entirely from their hotel rooms, which is a huge deal. But when you're in a place like Estonia or Latvia or Kiev or St. Petersburg, not a lot of options to find an Omni, a Hilton, or a Marriott. And so I was really kind of left to my own devices. And I would oftentimes have this thought process as well, another indicator that I was addicted. I would think, okay, she's really being mean to me, so I really deserve this. Or, I've worked really hard and I'm super stressed right now, I deserve this. And I would play the victim, and I would play entitled in my thought process. And that was how I knew, looking back, that's how I knew for sure I was addicted, because I was justifying behavior. So anytime I went to rationalizing the behavior, saying, I deserve this, minimizing the impact of it, it's not that big a deal, I deserve this, those were all indicators. And over time, what led to, no. I would also spend time looking on at work, looking for stuff, trying to find something that was titillating, and I think some of that time was spent on, like, eBay of all places, and because I didn't want to get caught, so I would spend inordinate amounts of time trying to find things that would titillate me, that would be triggering, and it was simply because I was stressed, which is ridiculous. But those are some of the behaviors that I exhibited early before I was actually told that I've got an issue with porn. And looking back on it, I knew something was up. I knew what I was engaged in wasn't in alignment with what my core beliefs were. They were not also in alignment with the partnership that I had with Ashlyn to be true. I just knew it wasn't. So for me, that's how I knew I was addicted. And then someone told me, Coby, you've got an issue with porn. So if you're watching this and you're wondering, okay, so what about this? What about this? Is this behavior? Is this not? Everybody's going to be different, but it's pretty much going to be the same. So the closer that I got to understanding the fact that I had an issue and I needed to seek help, the better it was for me, because it's like when I really face reality, then I really got help, and I got the right kind of help. So I will address that issue another day of what's the best kind of help to get for me, because I burned through a lot of resources foolishly with the behavior and the thought process that I don't necessarily need to have this kind of help, because that's for those guys, or I'm different from everybody else. I lived in that la-la land for a very long time, and that prevented me from getting help, to be honest with you. So I'll address that again another day. But for right now, that is how I knew I was addicted, and I hope that's helpful for you guys. But more than anything, I want you to have hope. If you're watching this, if you are the addicted and you're saying, okay, maybe that's me, I want you to know that there is help, there's hope, and there's an opportunity to change, because that's what my life has become. It's not because I found some secret sauce or I've got these like killer lucky socks that are stashed in my drawer. It's not it. It's not it. It's because I found the right kind of help. And we now live in a world where the right specialized help can be found, not only for you, but also for your partner who is the betrayed. So if you're the betrayed listening to this, and you're thinking, man, I think my partner is addicted, and that's why you're here watching this. I want you to remember that it's a delicate dance in helping your partner understand that they have an issue, that they have a problem. And maybe one of the biggest ways is to help them understand what the impact is on you, what the effect is on you in your life as far as the emotions that you experience. And when an example from my life of what that looked like is I'm sitting in therapy for the first time with Ashlyn, no, the second time with Ashlyn, with this therapist, and she's going through for like 45 minutes, literally trying to probe and ask questions as to why Ashlyn was mean to me. She had betrayal trauma, but why she was mean to me. And the woman didn't know that betrayal trauma was a thing, in her defense, meaning the therapist didn't. But she would ask all these questions, and finally, I said, let me just offer something up to you. I've been looking at porn and acting out, and maybe this is a thing. And she stopped. She said, okay, that's it right there. Coby, you go to 12-step. Ashlyn, this is his issue. So, like, the effect and the impact is far greater than what we think it is. So if you are the betrayed right now and you are feeling anger, if you're feeling betrayal, if you're feeling hurt, if you're feeling sadness, if you're feeling depression, if you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling like you have to control, if you're feeling rage, if you're feeling out of control in those ways, that's normal. And that's simply betrayal trauma. Expressing to your partner what the effect of their behavior is will, in my hopes, help them understand that addiction simply is behavior that is negatively affecting your relationships. And if you can take that stance, and if they can understand that that's a thing, then hopefully you guys can get the right kind of help. So glad you guys are here, but have hope more than anything, that you can find the right kind of help, and that you can change. Because if I did it, I assure you anybody can. So guys, until then, if you like this, please share. And because who knows the person who's actually in great need of this. And if you share this, that could be something that can help them in a huge way. So have a great day, you guys.